Alrighty then. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is. I hope everyone is doing absolutely fantastic. So it's been a while since I've done a video review, um, and to be honest, I was just exhausted. Work has been tough. It's been really stressful, and trading's been pretty similar. Trading hasn't been going as well recently, and it's largely because I've just lost confidence and stopped taking shots, which is incredibly frustrating. I've put the classic Michael Jordan poster. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been tested to take the winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So that is on my wall, literally right above me. And that's just a reminder to take the shot, because you've got to get used to losing. I'm probably going to be losing. Well, goal is obviously to lose as little as possible. And obviously, I want to highlight, a successful. I want to only trade successful patterns, but none of them are going to be 100%. So this very brief video, I know, I know I ramble, as many people have commented. So I try and be as brief as possible. So yesterday, one trade, and it's not. Well, I think it's worth talking about, but it wasn't. I was in at 10 out of 10 for Mara. So Mara is a Bitcoin play. We've seen Bitcoin finally break the 20k. And to be honest, even though it's broken the 20k, Mara and Riot, the Bitcoin twins they've actually been relatively lame. Like they have broken all-time highs. No, they haven't broken all-time highs. They've broken 52 highs, but not by anything significant. So I guess we're just in that phase at the moment with Bitcoin where we are seeing where it goes next. Will it test 20k? Will it actually just form a new resistance slightly higher? At the moment, it looks like that resistance is around the high is around just under 24k. It's kind of loosely tested it around that level twice already and failed. So I was trading it. So this is UK time. So I was trading it. My plan was with Mara was to firstly not take hod breaks. I wasn't going to wait for 10.50 or the pre-market high, which was 10.78, I think. I wasn't going to wait for those because what I've seen is that you take breakouts with Mara, all right, both similar, that they will break, but they don't break significantly, and often they can pull back pretty hard, which can be frustrating. So it's just an adjustment. Usually I'd be looking for that. If this was any other play with the volume that it traded yesterday, Mara was trading a lot more volume than so Mara 90 million with a float of 62, and Riot, so that's 1.5 times float rotation. So the shares rotated 1.5 times. Mara not even one. So Mara, you can see here the volume's 48, and the shares in issue the tradable shares are 66 million. So Mara, for whatever reason, is a lot hotter. Market caps are reasonably similar. There's 100 million in it. I say reasonably similar. There are other plays as well. It's like this. So this is an OTC HBBTF. Another. I was frustrated. So my plan I wanted to overnight these a couple nights ago. Anyway, Bitcoin moves at night, and I just kind of like my sleep. I kind of like my sleep, and you can see here this massive gap up here. So this is when pre-market opened, and it just shot up to 1080 something, 1070 something, wasn't it? So my plan was yesterday actually to try and replicate and do something similar. So I was looking for a VWAP hold into the afternoon, and it was around this level that I started trading. So I got in at 10, and the difficulty with Mara at the moment is you basically have to keep, well, not difficulty, but you have to keep an eye on Bitcoin. And the issue is that whilst Bitcoin is bullish and it's above 23k, as soon as it now dips below 23k is just the new 20k. So since it dips below 23k, Mara dips as well. And you can see here, um, actually, it didn't, like, Bitcoin hasn't looked, it's still incredibly strong, but it hasn't looked like it's just going to keep going and going and going, which perhaps people thought it might. Only, like, a day and a half ago. I think we all thought it would probably test around 25k, and maybe it still will, or maybe it'll pull back to 20, and then we'll be testing it at the 20 level, and then if it holds 20, well, that's incredibly bullish, and it will then, we expect, to go and test highs again. So if you're looking to buy Bitcoin, now's probably not a good time. You're in limbo at the moment between, you're quite close to a resistance point. So well, I say it's a temporary, it may be a resistance point. We want to see really if it pulls back to 20k, does it find new support, or does it keep going and then we find that resistance? But I think there will be opportunities to buy Bitcoin if you're looking at it. So my plan was Mara at 10. I just wanted a clear. So this is where I was trading. So this is kind of what I was looking for. Is the VWAP was around 980, and I just wanted it to be close to VWAP, just above VWAP. My risk was going to be VWAP, so I was risking about 20 cents, 25 cents, with a goal to Bitcoin being strong through the night, and then it gapping up in the morning, and it gapping up to 11.50. So I think my thesis is really strong, and the risk to reward is brilliant because I'm risking 25 cents and I'm looking to win. Well, I'm looking to gain almost $1, so that's 4 to 1 plus. Now it failed, and I actually just got out at 10. I got out at 10 because I was looking at Bitcoin. So I was looking at it around this. It was within this window that I'm highlighting here. Well, hopefully you can see. So Bitcoin's just setting lower highs, lower high. Does kind of bounce out of it a bit. So this was in after hours. So you can see here within this trend here, it's just setting lower highs, and if it kept setting lower highs, we'll just see it downtrend towards 20k. At the moment, not really. Like I said, I'm not really like. I think most people will just be waiting. We just want to see, like I said, if it breaks out this level. If it breaks out this level, I'll probably look to trade Mara. If it doesn't, then I will happily avoid it. The other option is to look to try and trade it around 10:30 because it does tend to dip. Oh, wrong one. So it does tend to dip around 10ish every day. Well, it has done. It's always looked quite weak in the morning, even if it's looked quite strong. Like, so I traded this yesterday in pre-market for a gain. Did okay out of it. I thought the Bitcoin impact was going to be bigger on Mara. I thought we were going to be looking at. I thought it was just going to keep going because 20k was such a milestone after it not breaking it for 3 years since it first attended. So could look for a dip into the morning and just look to get in cheap with a view to if Bitcoin holds, and then if Bitcoin does go, it's still a relatively low risk. But I don't know what will happen to these if they do drift to 20k. If Bitcoin drifts to 20k, if it does drop to 20k. Anyways, rambling. That's enough talk about Mara. I went for a short. It was based off Bitcoin being really strong. At the time, Bitcoin was, like I said, it was downtrending, setting lower highs. So as soon as it came back to 10, I just got out. I wasn't, and actually getting out at 10 was really good because it did drop down to 925. did drop down to 917. And my view at the time was that wasn't Mara over for me. My view was that let it drop, let just get out and then reassess. And like I said, whilst within these hours, so up to like 5-ish market time, so like 1-ish in the morning, for me, Bitcoin wasn't looking particularly strong. When I say strong, like it does look strong, it's just relative. It's all relative. Anyway, I want to talk about NXTD as well. And look at my poorly drawn line. That's had to be a straight line across 140. Anyways, so this is frustrating. So yesterday morning, there wasn't really anything that I liked. So I switched off. And I just stopped looking at the markets. I can't say that I really liked NXTD in the morning. I don't know why. And I can't say for definite whether I would have traded it, but it was 140. It said 140. It's a typical dip and rip. 140. Wait for it to break 140. It's loosely Bitcoin related, and low priced, low float relative again. It traded 400 million shares, so we've had 13 times float rotation within the day. And so all the signs were that this did look like this NXTD had a lot of focus, had a lot of people looking at it. That's what volume tells us. Everyone is looking at NXTD, and a 140 break, would have been powerful. I switched off, and so it broke 140 and went all the way up to 212. You see here, like once it broke 140, it's just solid 5-minute candle, 5-minute candle, 5-minute candle. So anyway, lesson learned, do not switch off. But thanks if you have watched, thank you. Like I said, hopefully you get something out of it. If not, it's mainly for me. Selfishly, I'm still hoping. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm hoping that some of you will come join me and we'll have a chat. And whatever happens, like work, stressful, etc., I'm just trying to keep in the zone, just immersing myself. But peace.